Hello and welcome to this presentation about object descriptions. So our learning intention is that students can explain the purpose and structure of an object description. It has to be said that an object description can come in multiple flavours, and I'm only really talking about one of them. They're not quite as rigid as some of the other design tools. Just a reminder that design tools are for us to get all of our ducks in a row in terms of how our processes and our data and what sort of conventions we're going to use when we're coding. So they include data dictionaries, mock-ups, object descriptions, which is what we're talking about here, input, process and output charts, also known as IPO charts, and pseudocode. If you had all of these things done, you would actually have an extremely rock solid base for you and your team to be building your code. There you would have removed a lot of the opportunity for misunderstanding and confusion. So, as a reminder, when we are talking about an object, because we are going to go on and talk about an object description, an object is something that is created by a class. A class has what properties the object's going to have and what behaviours are going to be available to the object. Some of them are only available to the class. I think they're called static, but by and large they will be available to the objects. So when we talk about the object, it's something that's had both some attributes given to it by virtue of being created from the class, and also it's going to have some actions or methods that it can use. So an object, as I've just said, is a concrete instance created from a class blueprint. So the class, let's say, is student, and then you'd create an object of Joe Smith. And so it would say, well, Joe Smith will have these attributes and can do the following actions. It's going to have specific data values. You know, his name is Joe, his surname is Smith, he's in year 7, he was born in, 2000 and, I don't know, maybe 12, I'm not even sure when people are born now. And it's got methods attached to it. And it's got its own distinct entity. Joe Smith is different than Jenny Smith. They are different objects, even though they've both been created from the same class. And that it exists during the execution. So the first thing that we could describe in an object description is a table like this, which says here's the attribute. Now an attribute is just another name for data. It's like being a variable. So the attribute name is student ID. We've got a data type. We've got an additional value, which has got as talking mark. You might also write null there. It might have a value of nothing. It's access, which would be private, protected, or public, and a description so that other people on the team know what it is. You might think that it's really obvious what these things do, and perhaps when you set them up you've got enough internal documentation to do the job, but an object description is another way of making sure that you've got all your ducks lined up. Now, the second thing that you're probably going to be describing in your object description is the methods. So over here we've got the method names on the left, and you'll see they're written as they'd be written in the program. You can see that those are in fact all using camel case. We've got the parameters. Parameters are like a argument being passed into a function, but when it's being passed into, goodness, I've just gone blank here. When it's being passed into a method, we call them parameters. What it's going to be returning, well, not everything returns something, but these examples all do, and what the access level is on all of those. So again, if you've got all of this stuff nice and clearly documented, the actual building of your program should be pretty smooth sailing. So finally, let's have a look at why do we have an object description. Well, obviously, it's so that things are well thought out, clear and communicable. So it's a clear specification of what a data object will store, so that the programmer doesn't have to make it up on the fly and hope that that's what everybody wants. It can document the operations of an object can perform, so it's documenting the methods, again, so it's not just left up to one person's understanding, that it's something you can socialise and say, well, do we all agree that this is what this will do? It establishes your naming conventions and your data types, and it facilitates communication between team members, both across people and across time, so you can go back to it and see what it's about. So that's the end of this introduction to object descriptions, and I'll see you in another video.